So this is the Christodora house, obviously. And I can talk a lot or a little about these things. There's 96 images, so I won't go on too long. But what shocked me here is how big that building was and how empty it was. This is 8 between B and C. And I know where almost all these are, but there's a couple that I forgot. One of them I just realized is here when I was walking in the door. And black and white always makes things look older. This is Avenue B between 10th and 11th.
Wow.
This is 8th Street to 7th Street through the Ecology Garden. So that, oh wait, I have a pointer. That building is where Charles the upholsterer is now, for anybody in the neighborhood. This is they knocked that down and now it's a new orange brick building.
That's where you put your composting.
Yes. This is the corner of 11th and B. And somebody said Kerouac's subterranean, Paradise Alley is there.
It used to be now.
Actually, when they built that senior center house, and they took part of Paradise Alley.
Oh, really? This is 9th Street between A and First, wherever Whitman's is.
What does that sign say?
The sign says Italian American Groceries.
Oh, no, what be there?
Oh, speculators beware.
Why are some of your earlier photos black and white and some color?
Because it had blue and that's another thing. Some of these photos, if anybody knows about photography, some of these photos I was shooting photochrome indoors, which is ASA 64, not a good idea. Then other times I had high-speed film outdoors, which you shouldn't do either, but I didn't have the money to change film. I was doing it all on my own. This is on 5th Street between C and D. And if you notice, all these buildings are empty.
All those trees are going to be
Yeah, well, those trees are behind the brick wall, but yes, they've grown 30 years. That was one thing that was really surprising to me, is how much more greenery there is now than there was then. I also don't remember it being so shitty looking. I forget this guy's name, maybe somebody here knows it. It's somebody Feinstein. He used to walk around with all these dogs. Oh my God. He was,
What did he do?
he just walked around with these dogs. I actually don't know. He was a nice guy, but he, you know, he was a homeless guy, and he was with his dogs. And his dogs were like the number one care for him.
You know James the Lawbreaker?
No.
He's the on the wall.
Yeah.
He's,
This is Avenue B between 10th and, or 11th and 12th. And that is the Newcomers Motorcycle Club. And I think this is the restaurant that's now out of business called Back 40. It's a Domino's Club. This is A and 7th looking south. Actually, it doesn't look that much different. It will as soon as 6 goes south.
Mr. Root, did anyone ever give you a hard time about that?
No, I had very good luck. I was expecting this. I didn't take photographs of drug dealers for the most part. This pharmacy restaurant is where you would take, where we took my wife's parents to show them that the neighborhood was safe. It's now called Doc Holiday's. 3rd or 4th Street between C and D. I have a strong memory of it there, but I can't find that post. And I got tired of looking for it. Now, this is, if you remember Kim's Music, it started as Kim's Kim's Produce, and then Sips moved in across the street, so we changed it to Sips Dry Cleaners. And then he started renting videos on the side. And then he sold the dry cleaner and moved the videos down the street. And this is, over here is the Pyramid Club. This is Avenue C between 7th and 8th. It's called, this new building, I think it's called East Village Garden, something like that. But that is the top of Christador House. And 8th Street was kind of empty at that time.
That's where the supermarket is.
Yeah, the supermarket is in this building on the corner. And this was an old tenement that had a beautiful old ghost singing about coal and wood. This is the block that just blew up. This is the original facade of Life Cafe. And I have others, but I have tighter shots, but they're not here, I don't think. They might be. So this is the corner of Life Cafe, so 10th, or B and 10th. So this is, all these buildings are now occupied and cleaned up. This was a Caribbean bakery on Avenue B between 10th and 11th, and 162 became Lone Star, or Lakeside Lounge. And now it's a high-end cocktail bar. And this is also when a lot of galleries were over here, like 85, I think. But this is Civilian Warfare Gallery, which is a pretty good name, a pretty good gallery. Now it's a real estate office. This is 3rd Street between C and D. It's now a shiny new building. It was a lot that people used. And once again, if anybody has anything to say.
Well, Dan, I wonder, that's like, it's not a playground, that's like a homemade swing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is when Madonna was shooting Desperately Seeking Susan. And I didn't know who Madonna was, but I was told that
She lived next door to me.
Did she?
Now,
Really?
I'll tell you later.
This is La Plaza Cultural. Yes. And it was actually a going community space then, but the buildings around it weren't occupied. A lot of them weren't occupied. Some were, like this one. And this was a little video that I shot. The guy asked me for my card. If anything came out, they let him know. And through this photo and meeting that guy, I did a lot of work for the pop music business. Because the production company had me come in. They said, "Who else have you shot?" And I said, "Madonna." So then I started working for MTV when they started. This is near here. So this is 4th Street, Avenue C, and 5th Street. And if you notice, there's not one building that's occupied. Wow. And this is not a very good today picture, but that is the angle. Ideally, I'd be up higher so you can still get a sense of the top of the buildings. But I'm too old to climb. This was 11th and B. This restaurant is gone. Yet another restaurant. The corner of 10th and B again. This is Tompkins Square Park. I couldn't get the exact same angle because when they renovated it in 91, give or take, they changed the layout, I think. Because I was trying to find the same rows and stuff, but I couldn't. Yeah. This is on 7th between B and C. It's, they ended up tearing this down. The graffiti Baptists who were down the street built this. And originally they were going to try to reuse this facade, but it apparently was compromised in some way. When I asked the preacher here, he said that they were unable to save it.
Is that a wooden facade?
No, that's all stone. Oh, I'm sorry, Ron.
Stone?
Hang on a second. This is, yeah.
I see, yeah.
This was the original graffiti Baptist on the left. Now it's an architect.
The name is Graffiti Baptist?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the restaurant Perbaco on the bottom, and this is what it looked like before it was that. And now this building is about 6 stories high. It was a garage. This is when the cops could go open shirt. And a lot of people don't know that there's a pool in Tompkins Square Park.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to bring a child.
This is the corner, I apparently spent a lot of time on 10th and B, but this was the Lower East Side Housing Coalition Housing Development. And this was a voter registration drive. And it didn't take very long, you can't read these signs, but it said how long it took before you could vote, and it was only like 15 days, I think. This is a girl on Avenue B selling books. This is 11th Street, almost to C, between B and C. And if it was darker, you'd see, oh, sorry, wrong one. These are all cutouts. And then this says something like, people live here too, can live here too. And this M13 was another gallery. It was on 9th Street between A and 1st, and the reason why it was called M13 is M8 bus used to be called M13. When it stopped right at the front. Now it's a wine store.
People are going to sneak across. It's okay, come on. It's up to you. There's a couple chairs on the other side. The whole side. It's very casual.
Sorry.
Here.
Down in front,
So this was St. Mark's and 3rd. I think this is as far west as I got. And Gringo was a movie that came out around 83 or 84. Or there was a movie, Gringo was the character in the movie, and that basically was a big ad for the movie that stayed up for 20 years. This is St. Mark's also. I wish it was a little darker, but this guy's got a wonderful throw. And there's this older black woman with her sneakers and properly dressed, and then all these rock and roll kids. This, I think, is wrong. Because I was just walking on Ridge Street, and I think it's down there. But at first I thought it would be 8th and D was a big, oh, sorry, wrong one. 8th and D was a big heroin corner, and people would buy behind the building that is there now. But everything was empty and open. And the girls' club just put a huge building right there. But I actually was looking at older slides for this, and I realized that there's a context. There's another couple slides that are wider, and I see public housing that's on Pitt Street behind that one. 11th and B again. So this was Life Cafe. Or This was when Tompkins Square Park had a band shell, a real band shell. And they had real community activities there. It wasn't all just homeless. It became that after a while, but this was a real play and people were having fun. This is the pool again. This is a street fair on 10th between B and C. And everybody was out. It was a very fun vibe, if you will. Another same thing. But these sheet metal window covers were everywhere. And when my wife and I first moved here, we got to 7th and B, and there were about 7 empty buildings, and they all were covered with that, and it was about 4 degrees, and we really long walks in the subway to get to work. And the wind was blowing, and it was cold, and we were like, what the hell did we do? This is Yaffa Cafe, which is now gone. A punk band, Cro-Mags. This is Ray's Candy and Avenue 7.
It's better now.
But at least they sold newspapers then.
Yeah, well, that's because Ray.
I used to drive.
What's a newspaper? They want letters, stuff.
The Little Shop of Horrors, long running, no, never near as long running as this one. I think this one's been here for, what, 20 years? Stomp is closing?
They're moving. Yeah.
Really?
When?
Wow. Oh, really? This is St. Mark's Cinema, which was, this is St. Mark's and this is second one. This is 2nd Avenue and Houston Street. And the subway entrance is right to the right here for the F train.
Oh, that's the
I don't know.
wall.
That's the Euro, yeah. Oh wait, did I just shift to it? No. This, I got below Houston for a couple. This is Orchard Street, looking north,
Yes.
and now I think this is a hotel that they're building. And, yeah, all these little tiny shops here.
How early in the morning was that?
I've always been an early riser.
It's not that deserted usually.
No. This is Orchard looking south between Stanton and Rivington. It doesn't look that different. You guys remember Adam Purple? So
Purple and out.
I included other shots of his garden, but this is him. He was a, I don't know, urban gorilla or gardener.
Dan, where is that?
I met his son and he was very religious.
Really?
Yeah, very Orthodox.
Wow. This is the building fronts on Forsyth Street between Stanton and Rivington. I think that there's other photos of the front while they tear it down. This. And so Adam's garden was behind this building, and they started tearing this down, and then they got to his building. And now it's public housing for deaf people. Because when I was hanging the photos up, like on this fence, everyone was looking at me very suspiciously, and then when they saw that I had photos of Adam, they all remembered Adam. And so they brought me behind the housing to show me the garden. It's their garden, it's not Adam's. But this says, let me just see. Oops. Nature nature rules the Garden of Eden. That's what Adam calls his garden. There's another shot of them. So this building is this building.
So did they give him a place to stay with since he moved, you know? they
You know, I just looked him up on Google last night. I was curious. He lives in Williamsburg, and he's like the grand old man of the like echo green thing out there.
Green grill.
This is the beginning. Now, this is when I was much younger, and I climbed up on the roof of a building that was abandoned at dawn. Everybody around me was selling and buying heroin, and these two are, these two are shooting up. And it didn't occur to me that I shouldn't take their picture. It didn't occur to me that it was dangerous.
Where is this?
The front of this building is Fourth Side Street between Stanton and Burger. Yeah, but I just, you know, I'm standing up there fully exposed to this whole world that's doing something that they can get into a lot of trouble for. And I didn't, and this is Adam's garden also. Sunrise over Adam's garden. This is all gone. This is the center of Adam's garden. And this is the whole garden, pretty much. So that's the center. It's rings, there's corn and tomatoes and beans, and he fed a lot of people with this stuff.
There's the towers.
And the World Trade Center is still in there.
Dan, I think I remember when I met you, you were telling me about how you were taking this photo and you all of a sudden realized that you were, like on one side there might be cops who might arrest you for trespassing, and then on the other side there's drug dealers who might kill you because you're on their turf, and you just...
And then, so those two were shooting up right in here.
Yeah.
And while I'm standing up there taking these pictures, I see the cop, what is that, Eldridge, on the other side of Fourth Side?
Eldridge.
Yeah. So I see cops coming up Eldridge. They don't see the people shooting up. The people shooting up don't see the cops. And they all meet. You know, and all of a sudden things are being thrown far and wide, you know. This is Straits Matzah, Rivington, and, what is it? Suffolk. Thank you.
They're moving too.
Yeah. And go while you can, because I just went down there the other day to take a couple pictures. And the guys that work in the bakery right here, and the kitchen right here, if you ask them to take the picture, they're very happy, they're very smiley, and they give you free matzah. It was actually hot, you know, like too hot to touch.
You don't have to make a plan.
No. This is as far south as I went. This is on Pike Street. And once again, I was younger. I climbed over fences and climbed through gaps in the wall. We got into this old synagogue that was completely trashed. There's pigeon shit everywhere. And I don't know what new PJ does.
99 cents.
It's the best 99 cents.
Now, this is the band shell in East River Park. And they had real changing, I mean, obviously it was decrepit, right? But they had changing rooms and backstage and, it was a gym. And this, what is, I don't know. Very disappointing. Of all the things that they could have put there, but, this is another view of it. More Madonna. Another, we're almost done with Madonna. This is all St. Mark's. And that's it. No, it's not. Okay, so this is 11th Street. and Avenue C. This building is still here. They knocked this down and put in a lot of that style. This is this building. Yeah, I thought it was the backside. I thought that it was the college center was 7th to 8th and through there. But there's no two synagogues there, and they weren't knocked down. And I could not find where two synagogues were side by side. And it's these two. This is now a church, and this is where we are.
I remember that building being so deteriorated. I'm not sure if that's.
This is 3rd between C and D. Avenue B. This was the address painted on this door. I forget the guy, he was a motorcycle guy. Does anybody remember him? The entire downstairs of this building was full of motorcycles. And he ended up dying a couple of years ago when he was standing on the seat of his motorcycle. Indian somebody.
Yeah.
Larry. Indian Larry? Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
standing up.
This was on 10th Street. This was Avenue B. It says worms have 5 hearts, and apparently that's true. Buzzards in the bushes, and they're fighting over worms.
What's that now?
What's that?
What is that now?
I have no idea. And these are all vacuum cleaner hoses. This is the back of the band shell from 7th Street between A and B. And this says, can anybody read that? Keeping out of the Lower East Side. Keeping real estate something out of the Lower East Side. There were a ton of hair salons on St. Mark's. And now there's one of these kinds of
Is the store on the bottom a smoke shop or a tattoo shop?
What's that?
The new store, the addiction store, is that a smoke shop or a tattoo shop?
It's still there. I mean, you know, and this guy is the only one, when I was hanging the photos back up, he's the only one out of everybody that wouldn't let me hang the photo up.
Really?
So I did anyway. But I took it down right away so I could take my picture. Oh, yeah. So this was Brownley's Hotel. I have no idea what they did. I don't know if they sold coffee and tea. But
Rare.
it's on 9th Street, or 8th Street. I was really attracted to his shoes. Penny's General Store. It started on 8th Street, moved to 7th Street. This was on 8th Street. And then it went somewhere else, I think. This is 7th and A again. This was 7A. Now it's Miss Lily's. Still haven't gone.
It's good.
It's really good.
Is it?
It's really good.
But you know it's new. I wouldn't go to pianos because it was new, and now they're like, I just realized they're about 25 years old. It's like, let it go. This was, I think this was part of that same street fair.
Yeah.
But they had chicken and food and Pride site. two guys playing checkers. Tompkins Square. There were two Ukrainian bars, one was blue and gold and one was this one that I wouldn't start to pronounce, but they were on either side of one door, of one step. It's on 7th between 1st and 2nd. Blue and gold, everybody?
Yeah.
This is 8th Street between B and C. This says, think of this as a window.
Dan, is that reverse order? The 1984 is on the right?
No, this is one photo
Oh!
where they had renovated this building and its twin, which is right next to it, was unrenovated. So now this is what they look
I
like
see it's
today.
top and bottom, okay.
Fire door sale. This guy, he used to run around with Groucho Marx glasses also. This is the side window of Christador House. And my eyes just aren't as good as they used to be, but what does it say? Spacious, elegant, spectacular, the read sign. Samuel L. Cox, corner of Tompkins Square, the letter carrier's friend, and that's it.